Welcome to this Tuesday Live. I'm your host, Lucas Simmons, and I am a holistic nutrition practitioner, and I'm practicing from my little home here in Treaty 7 territory at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. I'm glad to be here, glad to be with you on this wonderful spring day here in Alberta. I hope that wherever you are checking this in from, that it's a good day in your neck of the woods. Now, I do work in holistic nutrition, and my specialty is in helping people identify what is at the root of their common or uncommon health complaints. What's troubling you? What's happening in your body, and how can nutrition support that? My specialty is in helping people identify that internal burden of stress, if there's a high burden of stress, which can show up as inflammation, as histamine issues, as hormonal imbalances, as blood sugar imbalances, as chronic disease, autoimmunity. All of those things have a common denominator called inflammation. So inflammation is at the root and at the core of everything that I do, and how it shows up in each person is different. The way it expresses, the way the symptoms show up to say, oh, hey, hi, there's a fire inside, is different for each person. Yes, it's part comedy. So today, and all month long, actually, here on the social media channels, we are talking about the liver. And the liver has a really big part to play when we are looking at chronic inflammation. So we're going to get into that today, that curious link between the liver and the chronic inflammation, what that might look like, and what are some of the starting pieces you can put in place for yourself. So this is not medical advice. If you have liver issues, you got to go get it checked out by your medical team first. Nutrition is fantastic on a slow building and addressing some chronic stuff. Nutrition is not brilliant for acute conditions. In some cases, it can be in terms of a restrictive diet, but that never fixes the issue. It only helps alleviate some of the symptoms, but you got to figure out what's at the root of it so that you can nourish that piece back in place so you can come out of that tunnel of inflammation. So my bag is in helping equip you with the knowledge of what you can do on your plate 3 to 5 times a day so that you can feel good. So liver and the curious link to inflammation, what the heck is going on there? Why are they linked? Well, first things first, what is chronic inflammation? Chronic inflammation is the common denominator in all of those diseases that take a really long time to show up. And we're talking every body system. When I talk body systems, I'm thinking, your glandular system, your brain and nervous system, your skin, your skeletal system, your reproductive system, your digestive system, gums to bum, your eyes, sure, yep, and all types of different systems in the body. Urinary, blah, 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 right? Go back to grade 8 science. So the way that inflammation shows up is different from one person to the next, but it is that chronic low-grade inflammation that's the common denominator when there's a chronic disease at bay that you're trying to keep at bay. So chronic disease is anything that takes a long time to show up. So we're talking cardiovascular disease. We're talking obesity and diabetes. Those are some of the biggest hitters of the chronic conditions. Alzheimer's and dementia. Mood is actually one of the top 10 in Canada, actually, of diagnosed chronic diseases. So count mood in there for sure. All of these are ways that the body is sending out a smoke signal saying, something is up, I need some help. So don't shoot the messenger, and don't tell the messenger to shut her mouth up, because the messenger is trying to tell you something. Yeah. Reduce how much she's talking by actually addressing the root piece of why she's talking so loud. And don't wait till she is screaming at you. Address it when she's just going, help. Oh, hey, hi, help. Don't wait till she's going, I want some help. Because that just doesn't feel good for anybody. And not for me when I was doing that. Okay. So inflammation is a low-grade chronic type of inflammation we're talking about. Can show up in many different systems. The root and the ground zero of it will always be in the gut. I have a free class on that. I'll link to it. You know what? Let me put it down. I have a free class to it. And so I'll link to it down below. It's on a blog. It's free. Yeah. If you want to understand a little bit more why inflammation is at the root of all, or the ground zero is at the gut, then check into that. But understanding that your liver, so, okay, we've got inflammation. Liver does like 400 plus jobs. I posted something this morning on my social media that breezed through some of the main things that she does. But your liver is your main, the main grand poobah of your immune system response. Your liver is the queen of the cleanup crew. Your liver is the queen of metabolism. She makes hormones and she changes them into other things. And when they're done, she packages them and then sends them down the poop chute and then hopefully takes them to the curb. Yeah, she bags your garbage and she takes the garbage out. That includes hormones, that includes spent metabolic waste, includes a whole bunch of things. She does a lot of different jobs. She feels inflammation quite keenly, more than many of your other systems. I would dare say when there's chronic inflammation, your liver feels it keenly and your adrenals are trying to help. I think those two love you the most when there is low-grade chronic inflammation. And typically it's because something's not working well in the gut. That's the root piece for everyone, actually, interestingly enough, because your gut is where you most closely interact with the outside world. And the world's on fire right now, have you noticed? It's no surprise that some of that's going on inside. So when your liver has those 400 jobs to do, now you're asking her to work double time. The more inflammation there is, the more she has to do cleanup, because inflammation is a body's desire to live response, but there's a lot of garbage created when there's inflammation. And the inflammatory response is life-preserving. Thank you. But over time, she makes more and more bags of garbage. Inflammation does. Who's picking up the garbage? Oh, your liver. Who's bagging the garbage? Oh, your liver. Who's taking the garbage to the curb? Oh, your liver. Oh, she does so many things. She also helps to protect organs against those damaging effects that come as a result of low-grade chronic inflammation. When there is a lot of inflammation going on, some of the things that you typically find are blood sugars start to get out of whack, and you have a really hard time balancing blood sugars for a lot of different reasons. We'll keep it very brief for today. You also have a lot of hormonal imbalances. And so your liver also helps to balance blood sugars, also helps to balance hormones. She has a really big role to play in that. So when there's chronic low-grade inflammation, your immune system is on higher alert. Oh, who's in charge of your immune system? Oh, the liver. Oh, your blood sugars start to get out of whack. Who's in charge along with your pancreas to balance blood sugars? Oh, your liver. Oh, the hormones are also out of whack when there's low-grade chronic inflammation. Who's in charge of making and balancing hormones with other hormones and organs in that system? No, the liver. So when you've got inflammation, your liver's workload increases. Anytime there's chronic low-grade inflammation, code for high burden of stress going on in the body, your liver's workload increases. That's what this means. That's the connection. And your liver will always do all of the work because your liver is not by accident that the main four first letters of the word are live. She will choose for you to live all the time until the very last second. And even then, I'm pretty sure she's trying. So your liver, she breaks down dangerous chemicals. She bags the garbage. She makes it not so toxic. She puts those bags, and then now she needs to take the bags of garbage to the curb. Hopefully she can do that at the same rate as she's building the bags. And if she's faster at bagging the bags than taking the garbage to the curb, now you start to get a pileup of some of this stuff. That can start to be a problem. And that's one of the ways that inflammation can start to really bring in some of the impacts of the liver and slow down her function of doing the other 400 jobs. So part of the work in addressing a high burden of stress in the body, part of the work of reducing chronic inflammation in the body, part of the work in balancing blood sugars and hormones, it's all the same thing, are all about reducing that internal burden of stress. Well, you gotta love up the liver. It's one of the key pieces of the equation. While the gut is ground zero for inflammation, who's the one doing the cleanup? Your liver. Who is the one taking the brunt of a lot of hormones out of whack? Your adrenals. And the more you trip this inflammatory response in the body, the higher your inflammation goes up, the higher your internal burden of stress. Now you're sad. Sorry, don't get sad. I have some solutions. So the biggest contributor to your liver's workload of doing that cleanup crew is a disordered digestive system. Something's not working well in your digestion. Either you can't take foods to break them down into nutrients, and you're only sort of going from foods down to smaller parts of foods, but you can't quite get down to nutrients. Nutrients, your liver will send out and package it and build it into proteins and build what she needs to for the different components of the body. But if you only go halfway, the liver will go, I don't know what that is. Oh, well, I guess I got a big garbage crew today, I hope. Hey, guys, come and do the cleanup. And that's what happens. So if you cannot take foods and break them down into the smallest pieces, you're only going halfway. Now you're asking your liver to do even more. So every time there's somebody who's got chronic inflammation or a high burden of stress going on in the body, however that manifests, we got to look after digestion, because that gut is ground zero. And as we do that, we start to take some of the workload off of the liver. And that's the idea. We're not revving her up to do a detox because she's already detoxifying as fast as she can. Why don't you nourish her? And why don't you take some of those jobs off of her to-do list so that she can go, ooh, oh, now I can bring the bags of garbage to the curb a little bit faster. Yeah. Hopefully she can bag it and take it to the curb as fast as she's having to clean it up. So how do you know that your liver and inflammation are starting to ramp up? Well, autoimmune conditions right off the bat. If you have any type of chronic disease, and that's the kind of stuff, it's not a broken leg, but like the stuff that has taken a long time to show up, dementia, Parkinson's, ALS, MS, those types of things take a long time to show up. The other chronic conditions, for sure, skin troubles, eczema, if you have a rash, if you have hives, if you have acne, cystic acne, there's all different parts of the liver involved in why this is one of the ways your body's letting you know something's up. They all indicate liver, but they all indicate a different thing. And that's where I can help you figure that piece out. That's my specialty. You can also have joint pain. Joint pain is one of those ways that it's a really big clarion call to start supporting the liver and addressing that chronic stress load, your high burden of stress. So it can be twingy connective tissue, fascia, tendons, ligaments, those types of things. It can be creaky joints. It can be sore, bursitis, tendonitis, like sore things, arthritis, those types of things. What about sluggish digestion? For sure. You've got sluggish digestion. If you rev that up, you'll take some of the load off of the liver. But a sluggish digestion is a lot of work for the liver. So if you're constipated, liver's having a hard time. If you have undigested foods in your stools, liver's got a really big workload to do. If you're burpy, farty, gassy after meals, oh, the liver needs a little love, doesn't she? Yes. If you have food intolerances and your list of 3 foods has now grown to 18 foods, oh, sweetheart, your liver's having a super duper hard time. She sure is, and she would benefit from support. Hormonal imbalances, anything to do with hormones, fertility, infertility, reproductive stuff, of course, hard time through menopause, PMS, any of those hormonal pieces for sure. Now, tie it into hormonal stuff, thyroid. Yeah, any issues with thyroid. The thyroid and the liver do a lot of jobs together. They're a co-team very often in a lot of different processes in the body. If your liver's struggling, sometimes it shows up as a thyroid thing. If your thyroid's struggling, I guarantee you the liver's having a hard time. If you have really low mood and low energy, that can certainly be a hormonal imbalance piece. It can also be blood sugar imbalance pieces. So if you understand that inflammation tips your sugars to be out of balance and tips your hormones to be out of balance, all 3 of those are low-grade chronic inflammation. They are also a high burden of internal stress going on in the body. They all ask the liver a lot. So any blood sugar imbalances would be a clarion call to look after the liver. Are you hungry? Are you hangry? Are you super anxious as the day goes on? Do you suddenly have these like, oh my God, I can't get this done. I can't think. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me till I get a burger in my mouth. That was me 25 years ago. I worked in the Ontario government and I ate a massive chain burger, a large one, that's all I'll say. And I would have one like 3 or 4 times a week because I could not get through my workload in the afternoon because I was trying to eat so well in my first 2 meals of the day, trying to keep it low fat and blah, blah, and all these things, that by 1:30, I couldn't function and get my job done. I had to go down and eat a burger because it's the only thing, or a Mars bar in my drawer, That would calm things down enough that I could get my job done for the day without punching someone in the face. That's no way to move through the day. Have the burger, by the way. Yeah, so are you quick to temper? That's another way blood sugar imbalances. Do you wake up in the middle of the night making less blood sugar imbalances? Histamine stuff absolutely can have a sluggish liver component. You make an enzyme at the liver level that breaks down histamines. So you have a hard time with some of the liver stuff. Often histamine stuff can be a call also to support the liver. If you have headaches, migraines, brain fog. So this feels like it's all of the things because it is all of the things. If you understand that your liver does over 400 jobs in the body, and she is the queen cleanup crew when there is a lot of inflammation in the body, or that's synonymous to a high burden of stress in the body, well, you should love up the liver. How do I do that, Luca? Yeah, you can sign up and work one-on-one with me, but that's not for everybody. But please do send me a private message and we'll chat for 15 minutes for free to figure out what could it look like for you. But that's not necessarily for everybody. Well, you've fallen on a good month because April here, I'm doing tons of free stuff for supporting the liver that could be applicable to everybody. Every Monday this month, I'm posting a new blog on my website. It's my name, lucasimmons.com. There's a new blog on Mondays, every Monday, with a specific food that would help support your liver. It'll fit the bill for everybody this month. Second of all, eat real food. Eat a lot of veg. Your liver will actually benefit from vegetables more than a lot of the other organs in your body. You need the vegetables for the antioxidants to do that detoxification and cleanup from a lot of inflammation. So it helps you better break down inflammation, also helps protect your body from inflammation. Double whammy, I know. Help protect your liver with good fats. If you are eating liquid fats right now, we need to get that out of your diet. Switch your canola oil, your corn oil, your vegetable oils to butter, coconut oil, ghee. Animal fats will be protective. They end up being protective of the liver. If you need a 15-minute video on that, I suppose I could go do some digging for you, but just like, why don't we just chat instead and I can give you the science if you need it. But good fats that are solid at room temperature are hepatoprotective. They protect your liver against the damaging effects of toxins. Protect your liver so that she can do her job, right? And improve elimination. Help your body take the garbage to the curb. That can be a couple of different things. Move, drink filtered water, have some fermented foods, and bring joy. So those are your homework pieces. I will be putting a liver class on sale later this month, but if you want to start today, hit me up. Yeah, I won't put it in the comments below because it does feel salesy, but if you need help, just start by reaching out. Let's chat for 15 minutes and put pieces in place so that you can feel good. When the liver's letting you know something's up, it's time to look at it. And spring, as it so happens, is the perfect season to look after the liver. In traditional Chinese medicine, this was the season of the liver. All of the foods that start to come up at this time of year are liver supportive. Dandelions, brilliant liver food. Greens, chives, all of those fresh herbs coming out of the ground. These are liver supportive. What? It's like there's an innate wisdom that I've lost touch with. Yeah, it's really easy to get back in touch with it. Hit me up. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Share this with someone you think would get benefit of it, and we'll see you next week for another Tuesday Live. Salut et à bientôt.